What is going on, Internet? Eric Banholz back again with another e-commerce conversations. I hope all is well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the Internet from me, Chris.
Howdy. I'm glad to be back on this show with you, big brother.
When was it last time you were on? I feel like it's got to be years now.
It's been at least a year. At least a year, maybe a little more.
I think you came on my show, Bruce Bolt days.
Yeah, Bruce
and then
Bolt
you're
days.
like, I can't do any more podcasts.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I had to shut down all appearances. I did. And I had a good little thing going there, but yeah, I had to keep everything close to the vest for a period of time.
You like to talk, I guess, huh?
I do. I do. I like to talk. And usually, this is kind of a personality thing, but I usually tell too much, It's just, so I got a little, I would say a fair adjustment. Yeah, I had to play things a little closer to the vest for a while.
Yeah, you and me both, I think who cares? In the end, we all end up in the grave anyways.
We do. That's true. It's coming for us all.
Well, for those who didn't catch the first episode or haven't been following you on X for whatever reason, who the heck are you and what the heck do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Chris Hall. I stumbled into e-commerce in 2014. I created one of the first subscription coffee brands on the internet that I was aware of, at least 2014. This was before trade was a thing. And that's where I really got my feet up underneath me. I've been in the agency world a couple of times. That's where I really cut my teeth in what we do. I've had brands of my own that did well. I had another one that totally flopped because we couldn't get product outside of China during COVID. and most people know me from my stint inside of Bruce Bolt, where for about 24 months we were quite literally one of the fastest growing stores in the Shopify ecosystem. Since then, I've been in the agency world and I have been consulting. And as of late, we started D2C's daily show live every day on YouTube. Not every day, Monday through Friday, live on YouTube and X, and talking about what's now and next in e-commerce so operators can survive and thrive in this new Ecom 4.0 era.
What's that show called, Chris?
It's called Ecom Cowboy. It's called Ecom Cowboy. Ecom with two M's. Ecom with two M's. I know some people are 1M people, but Ecom with two M's. And you can find us at the same place at Ecom Cowboy, all together on YouTube and X and everywhere else.
You get some people are 2M's, some people are 2X's, some people are...
Yeah, exactly. We're 2M people over here.
All right. So if you haven't caught Chris's show yet, I think it's really refreshing what you're doing for the e-commerce community, because basically shows as we know it, and shows like my show, are a little more long form, a little bit dig in. Yours is action packed. You're bringing in guests. Walk me through like the thought process for the show, how you wanted to build it out. What are the goals for the show and what are you getting out of it?
Yeah, absolutely. I have always longed for this thing to exist. And the reason I have is for a few reasons. Number one, our livelihood in what we do inside of e-commerce, it depends on us being at the bleeding edge of the ever-changing internet that is evolving even faster as we live day to day in 2026. Our livelihood depends on being at the cutting edge. And so if we're paying our groceries with how our performance on the internet is going, we need to have real-time alpha now. And so we're covering all the things that are happening on X, the biggest news stories, what's going on in retail, D2C, AI, and how that's changing what we're doing in our selling on the internet, et cetera. Number two, working from a laptop, especially at home, which is a lot of the experience for people inside of our space, it is intensely lonely. It sucks, to be honest. Working alone on a laptop, not leaving your house. It is a dreadful experience. And so what I have wanted, in addition to just being up to date with everything that's happening, is a place where people can come and have a companion of sorts and interact. And so the wonderful thing about being live daily is that there is a ritualistic place that people can come to and not be alone in what they're doing. I have always wanted that. And then thirdly, to be frank, what we do is largely encased inside of spreadsheets and things that are just may bore you to death. If you spend too much time looking at spreadsheets in the ad manager too long, your eyes may glue over. And so because the nature of what we do is quite dry, I just felt that inside of our space, we needed a little more attainment, a little more infotainment. And so we try to keep it fast paced and popping and people moving in and out. And I think to a good degree we have succeeded, but far more for us to go.
It's logistically speaking, like this is a lot of work to put on the show, because how many guests do you have per show?
Usually one, but there are many times where we have had two. I would like to extend the show to 2 hours daily. We run a little bit over an hour every day. I'd like to extend it to 2 so that we can have more guests and more interaction, because there's more to cover. We often run out of time. I would say it takes me every morning, I spend probably 3 to 3.5 to 4 hours of prep, just getting into, hey, everything that's happened, who's coming, what to talk about. And then, things are happening in real time. And so there are stories that we need to cover that come up at 10:15 and we're going live at 12. And so there are things like that happen on a daily basis. But that's kind of what the time allotment looks like. And then thereafter, it's cutting, it's posting and things like that, and making the most of that content. So it's substantial in the amount of energy and time it requires, but I will say I love it. I love it. And that kind of pressure to be ready at 12 o'clock noon every day, I thrive on that. It in a way, it brings me back to my time playing college football at Texas, where every practice you had to be ready to go to war. You had to be ready to battle. And there was a necessity for being prepared mentally, physically, every single day. And so there's a part of me that just thrives on that. And I wake up excited every day because of it. So to me, I think it's a great fit for me personally.
Yeah. Well, I think about, I had a good friend back in Charlotte. He used to work at a newspaper, and just like that daily cycle where you had to get the news ready by 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock before the presses went. And it was always like last minute, like that thrill. It was just like, gotta pull it together. And I think I think that the challenge with Ecom, kind of spinning it to what we're doing, is like, it's easy to get complacent. It's easy to be like,
totally.
I'll push that to tomorrow.
Totally.
That's not urgent. So like, by having these daily routines and these, like, I have to produce the show, then I feel like you just accomplish so much more. Because how long's the show been going on now for you?
We will have completed our 30th episode tomorrow. So we have been doing this just a little bit over a month at this point, just over a month. And so, not too long, but a lot of lessons along the way because we do it every day.
You learn so much quicker that way. I don't know. I think it's quite impressive what you're doing to be able to bring that together, to find the news, to find the topics, to like get into the zone, to produce, to like have that energy. Like, people don't recognize online personalities and NTV personalities. That's a lot of work. Like, you've got to be exhausted by the end of the day, right?
It is. Oftentimes I'm quite happily exhausted, but I'm so eager to do it. And I'll just share this as an example. There was an agency owner I talked to recently who is a great friend of mine, and they do excellent work for their clients. And he was bringing up a problem. Hey, said client, one of our most important, they want to test this new kind of offer, and they want us to be able to provide stats if possible, without ever having gone live with it. They want us to be able to provide an informed opinion on do this or do that without wasting a bunch of money on either. And the great thing is that now that's actually possible. It's possible with Shopify's new tool, SimGem, which essentially just brings in a lot of AI interactions, and it allows you to get projected data on what are customers going to do if I do this or if I do that. Now, the fact of the matter was this agency owner, who is at the top of his game and focused and executing for clients every day, he had no idea it existed. And
I
why?
didn't know it existed.
Exactly. And why? Why did you not know it existed? Because you're head down with your nose in your laptop making it happen every day. That is the nature of our game. You have to be focused. And so I felt so honored to be able to have that information and say, brother, do this right here. Of course they did it. And they were able to offer that great information. And so I've had pushback at times like, hey man, like this isn't like, it's not Sports Center, okay? There's not enough happening in ecom every day that you can fill up a show and have something good to talk about. And I respectfully disagree. There's just so much happening on the internet in our space that we need the alpha on a daily basis in real time.
What are some of the remarkable things that you're seeing in e-commerce right now?
Man, I would say, of course, the AI generative tools have advanced to a degree that is jaw-dropping. And 6 months or a year ago, what were we doing? We were laughing at them, and a lot of the creative strategists in our space were also laughing at them. And me being one of them. I spend much of my time, even now, working on ads. How can I develop this as cheaply as possible, create an interesting visual hook, etc.? Well, now they have come to a point where I feel they truly empower what I call the one-man brand. I see this next era of e-commerce 4.0, as Sean Frank has called it. I see it as an opportunity for the rise of the underdog. Why? Because a man can meld with machine and truly become a maestro of sorts for the agents and robots and tools available to us now that we did not have 5 years ago. And a great example of this that Bart from Dad Gang just talked about that I am truly impressed by. He talked about this tool called Kive. There's so many AI generative tools, but Kive is an example
Kive or
Kive. Let me make sure that is how you spell it here while we talk. But he uses Kive on a daily basis, Kive.ai. And what it does better than any other tool that he has tested is it gets product specifics right inside of the image itself. If you've played with any of these tools, you find like, oh man, it's so close. It's almost
the fonts
there.
are bad.
Exactly. The fonts are bad or whatever. Well, now he's able to take, that's a really cool looking shot with that model. I want my product on that model inside of that shot. Switch and replace. And now he's got something not only he can use inside of ads, but he's got something that he can use on his own organic social feeds. And we have discovered now, there are other 7-figure businesses who their entire Instagram feed, it's filled with images from Kive. And no one is the wiser. And that's not a deceptive thing. That is a enablement for us on the brand side or on the agency side to do more with less. And so I see this on the AI generative side. I see this as a huge advantage for lean teams with big dreams. And so that's one of the huge things that I see happening right now. Seed Dance 2.0 has come out with its model, et cetera. And people will push back on that. I mean, what does it really mean for us? We need humans at the end of the day. And I agree. But that's one of the things I'm really excited about on the visual aspect of what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, you say people are driving 7 figures of revenue. Like, is AI fundamentally converting people, or is it still kind of at this point where it's, we'll play around with it, we'll see what sticks, but like when rubber meets the road, like it's still just not there yet?
So in large case, I think as a general rule, what I've seen is that everything that I've played with will get you about 80% of the way there. And I mean, you can spin that in the realm of copy, you can spin it in the realm of photos, of videos, etc. I think it's a great help at this point. I don't think that it is a replacement in total. And I'll even apply this on the AI agent side. There are agents that I'm using now, and sometimes it's really awesome. Sometimes they kind of suck. They just don't do what they're supposed to do. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the rules you set up or what they just don't really do what they're supposed to do. So I take it as a great help. I need more social content. I need something to be active in the feed that looks good. Okay, I got help there. Hey, I've got this ad that I just recorded, but I need some B-roll that would make this a little more visually interesting. Okay, I can get that. Can I just one shot an ad that's going to look as good and talk as smooth as Eric and everything's fine and it's green lines up and forever? No, I don't think so. Not that I have seen, but will we get there? Perhaps.
Go ahead. I feel like we are, man. Like I was having this conversation with my meta guy, my ad guy, and I feel like in 2 years you'll be able to just be like, here's what I want scene 1, here's what I want scene 2, here's what I want scene 3, here are the assets, go at it. And really, like what I feel like is the talent that you need, or for the short term at least, the talent is communication.
Yeah.
Like how well can you clearly get your thoughts out of your head to a computer that they're going to understand what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And if you can't communicate well, you will be left behind. Like I don't know. I don't know how, if you're a poor communicator, how you respond in this environment. Unless they really do start to just read your mind.
I think that's totally fair. And the most adept operators that I've seen right now are doing the very thing that you have said, over communicating in ways that I have yet to fully take advantage of. Like, hey, I want you to sound like this. Okay, here's a lot of examples that I want you to train from. Upload this, upload this, upload this. I really like this guy's copywriting style. Use that. And providing tons of information to work with. And then maybe they're operating inside of the terminal for Claude Code, or maybe they're operating with this tool or that. But they've provided so much information that the tool, the agent, has a lot to work with and can more accurately define and get you results for what you're doing. I think that's a big piece of this that, people are still learning, and I myself want to get better at.
Well, I think there's, here's some tip from my own personal experience, like playing around. I was trying to get like a graphic novel.
Yeah.
And I didn't want like the traditional kind of graphic novel. If you go to the Beard Brand X account, you'll see a couple of posts that are of this art style. And I don't know if I just uploaded some artwork, or if I was like, hey, this is kind of the vibe that I want. Like, how do I describe it? And then of course there's like already names to the style of artwork. And then it tells you what to tell, and then you plug it in, and then all of a sudden it was just outputting exactly what I wanted.
Wild. It's wild.
So it's like, so the thought process is like, on one hand, you're like, oh, you need somebody who has broad exposure to a lot of things so they know where to go to get it. But on the other hand, you almost don't. You just need to have someone who is willing to ask the right questions.
Yeah.
And then once they ask those right questions, get the guidance on, how to kind of prompt, in my opinion. I see guys like Door Brothers. Do you follow them at all? DOR?
No, DOR,
Oh,
Door Brothers.
You should get them on. So they've been creating, just 100% like AI content. They started off with just like all these well-known politicians with like guns and like rap music, and they've got like gold teeth in, and it's just like, it's just like they were using AI in a way that was clearly AI. Obviously Obama doesn't have an AK-47 going around.
Oh man, I've seen some of these. I've seen some of their content now as I'm looking at it.
So it's coming from a place like, I think there is always going to be that scarcity of that novelness of creative storytelling or creative vision. and then being able to execute the tools. I think there's going to be a ton of slop. Like I don't think
Yeah.
you can come in and just be like, hey, Grok, make me something that's going to sell $1 million worth of something. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think.
And
Um,
and YouTube is penalizing and getting rid of channels now who are too heavy on that. I mean,
oh,
you
really?
know, yeah, if it's Slopodopoulos, then there are platforms now who are coming in and cutting the legs out from under those players.
I mean, I think, maybe in 5 years' time, like there's going to be this desire for realness. But also people may not even be able to tell the difference. Like you may be able to upload your avatar and do your live stream. Like,
Wouldn't that be
hey,
wild?
yeah,
Well,
and then,
I think there's two routes here for there are two bets for the future, and I'm really trying to take both. You know, there's the anti-AI bet. And what's the best way to be anti-AI and build trust? Well, it's being live and it's being in person. As much as you can be live, hey, look, it's an actual human who's making mistakes and genuinely produce something good enough that people love and will come back to and value. That's a real win. Or it's IRL, Ari Emanuel, who owns, the WWE and the UFC and all these other sports. I mean, this is his big bet is, well, people want to get in person more than ever. And
yeah.
they're paying big dollars to do so, even more than before. And so I think there's a way to win trust with people, and even on the brand side, going live in a regular way, selling your thing. Maybe it's not even an expensive thing. Maybe it's a whatnot vintage buy that you just found, at Goodwill. But I think there's a way to win on that route. And then this other route is, like the Door Brothers, or I think Heavy Pulp is another interesting example on X. There are people who are becoming so tactile and experts with the tools that they're continually able to stay at the forefront of creating novelty that wins eyeballs. And if you can win eyeballs in a way that doesn't deceive people, they don't feel cheapened or deceived at the end of the day, then I think there's a way to both please them and enrich yourself. There's an app that we touched on the show today. This app is incredible to me. This is it right here. I think it's this app called, what is this app called? Drama Box. Have you seen Drama Box?
No, I'm out of the loop.
Bro, Drama Box is short TikTok style mini dramas that are all AI generated. Each episode is not 1 hour long, 1 minute long. Okay. Each episode is literally 1 minute long. This business is doing, I'm going to make sure that I get it right. This business is doing $40 million a month.
A month? No, I don't believe that.
This is what the tweet says. Let's call it a year.
Wait,
let's just call
what
it
are
a
they
year.
selling? What are they selling?
They're selling access to the shows. You go download the app, you pay, and then you can consume.
And you just watch a show?
It's
just content.
Yeah. Well, this
I don't believe it.
And maybe not. But even
I'll have to see the content. Maybe I'll change my tune then.
And let's call it 40 million a year, or let's just call it 4. Even if it was just 4, this is flabbergasting. Somebody is able to produce something of worth enough that people will watch a minute at a time and happily pay for it. I will say this: I think it's horrible for humanity. I think we're all, it's leading us into the Matrix, okay, where we're all zombified. But as a marketer, I will be using the tools on Monday. I will. I'm gonna be using Seed Dance 2.0 on Monday, but I don't feel that it's best for humanity. I really don't.
Yeah. What is Seed Dance 2.0?
Seed Dance 2.0 is just a new model. It comes from ByteDance, who is the owner of TikTok. At least it used to be the owner of US TikTok. And they are creating what you see now, a number of popular videos where, Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible is fighting John Wick. And it's like the coolest action scene you've ever noticed or watched. And there's all these like fantastical videos that people are one-shotting. And people are saying, oh, Hollywood's cooked, and Hollywood's a step behind and all these things. I don't know about that. But What I do know is that the capabilities are better than ever. And now it's up to us. Okay, how can I use this in a winsome way to hook people in, to tell them what I want to talk to them about, solve a solution for them. They give me dollars and I give them real value in return.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Hollywood is cooked because it's basically, it's like when CGI came out. Like
Yeah.
everyone was talking about how it's all fake, da 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 da. They want real stuff, but it's like people don't want real or fake stuff. They want interesting stories. They want, like content that enhances their lives, or information into things that enhance their lives. So when you think about that, AI, especially like content creative AI, is just one of those tools to help you deliver that.
Absolutely.
It's not like one thing kind of replaces the other. And I do think it's nice that, quote unquote, AI slop is being recognized. Like it's just low effort content production using
Yep.
AI. That's in my feed all the time. I'm like, okay, another beautiful girl floating in outer space. It's like, we've all seen that. Like,
We have.
it's not. I'm going to go into like a little philosophical. I think you like philosophy.
I do.
I don't know how much you know about. Do you like dogs as well?
I do like dogs. I got one
Okay.
back here, lady.
So I think human civilization is, in my opinion, the cause of that was the domestication of the dogs. So
Okay.
having two apex predators that could functionally communicate with each other, the dogs would protect us at night. We would feed them. It was kind of like this win-win situation. And that was what allowed for, like farming and, the
I
raising of
like
other
it.
animals.
I like this.
Yeah. So if you ever go down the rabbit hole, that's a fun one to go down, like the domestication between. But really, the question starts to become, did we domesticate the dogs or did the dogs domesticate us? If you look at the dog's life now, they eat well, they have their shelter covered, they live longer. And then, of course, dogs split from wolves. I mean, of course, they can still breed and whatnot, but the wolves are different than dogs. I think we're about to experience the next great domestication. And it's going to be the domestication of humans by AI.
Oof.
And humans are going to be the dogs of the future. So they will value in us something that they'll never have, whether it be, the erraticness of us or the spirit that we have or the freedom that brings them value and joy. And then, of course, we will value them for providing for us and, putting a roof over our head, making energy for us, making our lives nice. So we're going to become these like soft and docile people. And then you're going to have a diversion of people, like the people who trust AI and all the benefits that come along with it. And then, the wolves, like the free range people. That's kind of like
very interesting. That's very interesting. And I think to me, that sounds very likely.
Yeah.
If you
I don't think it's going to be this doom thing. I think it is going to be like this symbiotic kind of thing where both AI and humans are elevated by the relationship.
At my core, I don't want to be a docile domesticated, I don't want the AI to be ruling over me.
I mean, you got all the entertainment you want,
Well, I mean, I think there's a good case. There's a really good case to be made for the affluence and abundance that AI could create, especially when you factor in, let's just say, okay, robots are available everywhere and they can do all of the things. And, AI is, helping us with the crops and, there's abundance there. I think there's a really good case for that. I wonder my big wonder is, will we be happy with that? And I ask that because I myself, when I am, just as an example, sometimes when I'm on vacation and things are too nice for too long, I just long to like work on something of value, some big story. A man needs a quest. I need some big thing of purpose that I'm doing. And perhaps we can find that in other ways. But to me, it's often the work that I find so much joy from. And that's what, to me, it makes me anxious about, oh yeah, we're all in affluence and we don't have to do anything most of the day.
You know what it is? It's going to be, the AI is going to throw the ball in the backyard 15 minutes a day.
Oh, I don't know if that's going to do it for me. I don't know.
They'll just give you a couple puzzles. You'll solve those puzzles, and you'll be like, "All right, I'm good for the day. Back to my lounging."
That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. You may be a prophet of some sort. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, where can people follow you, watch your show, listen to you?
At Ecom Cowboy on Twitter. Go to YouTube, youtube.com/@Ecom Cowboy. We're there every day, Monday through Friday, talking about what's now and next in e-commerce so we can all survive and thrive.
And you got a personal X account now too, huh?
I do. I thought perhaps it was fitting, because we were doing a little bit more under that moniker. Yeah, my personal Twitter, you can find me at Chris Luke Hall, spelled exactly like it sounds. Chris Luke Hall, same on Instagram and everywhere else. If you want to find me just personally, where I talk about things that are not just the show and ecom, as I know, Eric, you are a big fan of. Not being a one step only. This is what I talk about all the time. Yeah, you can find me at Chris Luke Hall as well.
There you go. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as I did. This has been another e-commerce Conversations. Cheers.
Cheers.
Keep on growing.